Hey guys, check this out. We are here with the new Cupra Formentor. You can almost not recognize it because it has changed a lot. We have a new face, we have a new interior, we have all new drivetrains as well throughout. This thing gets a power bump pretty much in every grade. And frankly, it is still one of those very, very good small performance SUV crossover thingies. So today I'm going to take you for a full tour of the new Cupra Formentor, the facelift. We're going to check out the exterior, move on to the interior and practicality. We're going to launch it, see just how fast it is from 0 to 100 kilometers an hour. Then we are going to drive it, give it lots of sauce. And of course, I'll end on my final thoughts. Should you buy the new Cupra Formentor? Let's get into it. Alrighty, let's talk about price before we take a look at the exterior looks. So right now you can get a Cupra Formentor, the base model, for about $51,990 in Australia. That goes up to like mid-60s if you want the top of the range VZX. This one here is actually well, it's not going to open, the plug-in hybrid. And while we don't know exactly how much the new Cupra Formentor is going to cost, I reckon it's going to be somewhere between $2,000 to $4,000 more expensive across the range. Okay, let's take a look at its new front end. Frankly, it looks almost entirely new. I love these headlights here with the 3 triangles within it. It's supposed to look more like the Cupra Terramar and Cupra Tavascan that are about to come out. Got the Cupra badge here. You have an enormous new grille and front bumper setup. You have aero here to help streamline air across the sides. You've got fog lights in the split headlight design. I just think it's a very, very good looking machine. And I do like it in this matte paint, but I don't know if I'd recommend a matte color only because it's harder to clean. Let's check out the side. Okay, let's take a look at the side. So you're going to see these new 19-inch wheels here. They've got copper within them because that is the color of Cupra, of course. You've got these Goodyear tires here. They're actually pretty good. Here, you're going to notice the plug. You've got AC and DC fast charging. This thing now has 50 kilowatt DC charging out of its new 19.8 kilowatt hour battery. So it's a much more dense battery, and that means that this thing has a WLTP of around 100 kilometers, which for a plug-in hybrid is actually very good, but we'll talk more about that when we drive it. Got carbon fiber mirrors, that's pretty bougie. Keyless entry and go roof rails up here. No tinted privacy glass, but we might be getting that in Australia. And otherwise, it's like a weird hybrid between a coupe and an SUV. It's a very unique looking car, and I love it for it. Let's check out the bum. So the first thing I love about this is the new light bar here at the back. You've got these cool triangles here too. The Cupra badge also lights up, and it's just a very sleek look, I think. You've got Cupra spelt out here in copper badging, and then down the bottom is a very aggressive diffuser, but completely fake quad exhaust because this is the eco-friendly one. This is the plug-in bloody hybrid with a lot of power, in fact, a lot more power. But I'm curious to know what you guys think of the looks. Do you think it's a good looking car? And of course, if you are new to the channel, please do subscribe, like this video, and share it with a friend. It really helps the channel out. Okay, let's talk about what it can fit in its bum. Okay, so first of all, powered tailgate, that's always good to see. Got a couple of suitcases in here, so that should give you a good idea. We get a large one and a small one pretty easily, or 2 medium ones, however you roll. So despite these small proportions, this thing has an enormous boot space, like seriously quite a lot. You've also got your charging cables here, which is a nice thing to have. Under the floor, well, you're not going to get much because your battery lives under there. Like I said, it's more energy dense than it is before, but it should take up about the same volume. So cool to see that battery technology is actually evolving. You can also drop the rear seats really easily, and then you get a flat loading area. And like I said, plenty of space, especially for such a small car. This is much more hatchback than it is SUV. So that's pretty cool. Okay, let's check out the interior. Alrighty. Coming into the interior now of the Cupra Formentor. What's it like? Well, it's really nice. They've updated a lot of things in here, and it does just feel quite, I would say it feels quite special, frankly. So they've updated this display here. It's now a 12.9-inch display with wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, and frankly, it just works super well. And it's far better in one aspect. You still have the touch capacitive buttons here, but they're now backlit and always on the display. So yeah, you can always find it. It's always there, and it's worked flawlessly for me since, well, driving it here in Barcelona. Barcelona, I love saying that. It's also connected to a new Sennheiser sound system, which sounds amazing. Seriously, so good. Way better than the Beats audio system that came before it, which was really tinny and heavily bassy. This is just nice. What else is new? Well, you get a 15-watt wireless charger, which is good. You also get these new Seatbelt racing bucket seats. They do feel amazing. Very nice, grippy materials, and this is all nice and soft too, with this Alcantara-like suede and the Cupra badge embossed into the seats. They're also super duper adjustable. You can adjust them in a bajillion different ways. So yeah, I'm in love with them. You've also got this LED lighting that runs around the cabin, and it just looks really nice. It's an easy, small touch, but it's something that actually makes a difference. The display up in front of you, it's still a 10.25-inch display, but now it's even faster. It's got a new skin to it. You can go through a bunch of different menus, customize it however the you want. It is genuinely very, very good. But if you had one before, it wouldn't be a reason to upgrade, if you know what I mean. It's good, but it's just as good as before. You get 2 USB-C fast chargers here as well. And quality, thankfully, it remains very nice. You do have some interesting metallic-y plastic material, which I don't love, and also a lot of it scratchy, but no one's scratching their dash. In terms of storage, you have heaps of space in there. You've got these 2 little storage areas, one for your key. You've got a couple of cup holders. You have one of these very Volkswagen Group adjustable armrests with heaps of storage inside and a 12-volt socky wocky, which is always nice, and a large sunroof here as well. Obviously, this will be indicative of one of the higher specs. You're not going to get this across the range, but you're going to get a lot of it, because one of the things that Cupra is good at is actually providing some decent value. These steering wheels, by the way, oh, they're so nice. Copper inserts in them too. It hasn't changed in any way, but it feels great to hold on to with physical buttons to control everything, which is what the Golf GTI has just reverted to. And if you want to go watch my review of that, I'll link it down below. You've got your drive mode selector on the left. It's just a Cupra badge, and your engine start stop button on the right with some paddles as well. So yeah, you get a lot of these little upgrades that makes the interior nicer. I don't think it's like 1,000 times better than before. It's just small things that make quality of life better and what you would expect for an iterative update. But I do love these seats. They're awesome. Let's check out the back seats. Okay, so what about back seats? Well, that feels good, but that's scratchy materials. This is also scratchy-ish materials, but this is epic because it's like this carbon fiber. I'm not even sure if it's real, but it feels real, looks real. It does mean you don't get any sort of matte pockets, but who cares when it looks this good? At 5'11" behind my driver's position, now you gotta remember the Formentor is not that big of a car. I have heaps of legroom, toe room, as well as fantastic headroom. Epic too. Get a couple of air vents. You get a 3rd zone of climate control and 2 USB-C fast chargers back here as well. You also have a relatively large door bin and some nicer materials here where it actually matters, you know, where you rest your arms. The seats back here are the same Say-Belt seats. Oh, they feel so good. Very, very grippy, actually. Pull down this center armrest, a couple of cup holders, and a 3rd one, a little one right here. And you pull down this, and now you've got a ski pass-through. So still very German, despite being a Spanish brand. Look, guys, I'm not gonna lie to you. I really like this interior. I think they've smashed it out of the park. And by the way, if you want to be smashed out of the park, make sure you check out carsauce.com/buy when you want to buy your next new car. We have thousands of dealers who we work with to get you the absolute best deals on your next new car. Because we charge our dealers a fixed fee, we go in the hardest to get you the best price possible, which means not only is it free for you, but you'll get the best deal. So if that sounds good to you, and it definitely should, make sure you check out carsauce.com/buy, especially if you want cars that are actually in stock. Let's launch it. Okay, now it's time to launch the Cupra Formentor. Let's put our foot on the brake, foot on the accelerator. That's better. Here we go. Fist me. Even for a front-wheel drive in this plug-in hybrid, it feels fast. Okay, let's see what we got. 0 to 100 in 6.66 seconds. I'm shocked. That's really quite fast. All right. Let's drive this thing normally. Alrighty, so driving the Cupra Formentor. So first of all, the entry engine is now a 1.5 litre turbo petrol 4-cylinder that puts out 110 kilowatt of power, 250 newton meters of torque, and is a mild hybrid. Speaking of hybrid, we're driving one, a proper one. This is a plug-in hybrid. It's now a 1.5 litre turbo petrol, up from 1.4 litres. And it puts out 200 kilowatt of power combined because it now has a larger front motor. And then there is the VZX, which retains its 2-litre EA888, but now gets the Golf R Euro tune, 245 kilowatt of power, 420 newton meters of torque, and it changes from a Haldex-based all-wheel drive system to a really trick multi-clutch rear differential, which has a torque splitting on the rear axle, so you can get almost a rear-wheel drive-like experience, which is absolutely epic. That isn't what we're driving today though we will be driving it, so make sure you're subscribed. This one here, you wouldn't think it would be this much fun, but it truly is. The plug-in hybrid, it just has loads of power, and like I said, you now get a much larger battery, more powerful electric motor, and combined that allows for about 100 kilometers of real-world driving range. It definitely has some, I don't know, funny points where there's a little bit of lag, for example, here and there, but overall, when you put your foot down, the engine kicks on, the electric motor, and this thing really does shift fast. Of course, all of that power is sent through a 7-speed dual clutch to the front wheels in the case of the plug-in hybrid. And if you give it a bit of sauce, there's actually quite a lot of torque steer. I think it's just an open differential up front, but it never feels unsettled. It just feels fun. And the best part is we're not even in Cupra mode. Let's put it in Cupra mode. We get a lot of fake noise. And the front end on this thing, it shouldn't be able to handle as well as it does. You can see it's kind of struggling to figure out what gear with the electric motor. And the suspension also, while it does definitely get firm in Cupra mode, never feels unsettled. Drop a couple of gears. Traction is kicking in a little bit there, but it truly is a lot of fun. And by the way, when you're not being an idiot, you can put the car into individual mode, and with its 15-stage dampers make it very, very comfortable. In fact, more comfortable than comfort, apparently. And it does do a good job. It's just so compliant on the road. Even here in the mean streets of Barcelona, I seriously have zero issues with it. It is one of the best driving little hatchback wagon things I've driven, and weirdly fast. And by the way, if you're wondering what happens when you do run out of range, as I have done, well, the engine just powers the front wheels, but you also still get little bursts from the electric motor. So when you put your foot down, you still feel the electric motor coming in. And of course, if you're wondering, what is the fuel economy if you aren't using the electric motor as much anyway, if your battery is technically at 0%, well, on average, I'm getting 5.6 liters per 100 kilometers. So I think that that's pretty damn good. All right, let's get to our final thoughts. Alrighty, guys, final thoughts on the new Cupra Formentor. Should you buy one? Well, frankly, we'll have to wait until we see what the prices are, but if they're around what they are right now, I think you're getting a lot of car for your money. This was Cupra's first all of its own vehicle, built on the MQB platform. It just drives so well. It's got really good engine choices. We'll have to again wait to see what they all cost, but if you can get this thing with a Golf R drivetrain, well, God, I would be so inclined to myself. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What do you think of the new Cupra Formentor? What do you think of its looks, its interior? If you did enjoy the video, please do like it and subscribe to the channel. We'd love to have you around. And of course, if you want to buy a Cupra Formentor or any new car, make sure you check out carsauce.com/buy, because you'd be silly not to.